welcome to all of you on behalf of Sport Singapore, the National Youth Sports Institute, and the Temasek Foundation. My name is Leslie Tan, and I'm the head of Athlete Life at NYSI, and I will be your facilitator this evening. So this evening, we will get an opportunity to hear more from the 5 athletes before you. And these are the athletes who have received support from the Temasek Foundation Inspire Fund. So just to get us started, may I please ask each of you to introduce yourself? So starting with Fiona, maybe tell us your name, your sport, and how many years you've been involved with your sport.
My name is Fiona. So I've been doing this sport for almost 7 years. And but I haven't been training during the COVID period because in case you all do not know, Jiu-Jitsu is a grappling sport. So it's a lot of close contact. And during COVID, the government was like, no close contact. So I haven't been training during that period. So, but I started training again last year when we eased the regulations and all. Yeah.
Thanks, Fiona. How about you, Lei Sang?
Hi, my name is Lei Sang. I practice the sport of weightlifting, particularly masters weightlifting, because I'm over 35 years old. I started competing in 2016, and so I should be in my 7th year this year. And because weightlifting is an individual sport, just me and the barbell, we're not really constrained with the COVID safe management measures. So it's full 7 years for me now.
Great, thanks, Lisa. Maybe I can go to Zikui.
Hi, I'm Zikui. So I practice BJJ since 2017. So I'm currently a blue belt. I train together with Fiona. Yeah.
Great, thanks. And Jaslyn.
Hi everyone, I'm Jaslyn. I started Olympic weightlifting about 4 years ago.
Great, thank you. And Nazri?
Hi, I'm Nazri, and I'm a national kickboxer. I started kickboxing at 2019, so it's been 3 years. 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe Nazri, could I ask you what got you interested in kickboxing, and then we'll go back the other way with the same question.
Well, the thing is, I've always been competing and training in MMA, right? So I started with Muay Thai actually, but like fast forward, like the gist of it all is, I had the opportunity to compete in the National Kickboxing Championship. So I just took part. So then one thing led to another, and then because all I'm looking for is like just trying to I'm looking for opportunities to compete, right? So for me, it doesn't matter what rule sets that I'm competing in, right? So so I got this far by just training, competing.
So how long is your MMA experience in total?
Yes, total. Actually, I've been fighting since 2013, but I started training in 2008. So it's been 13 years. Right. Overall combat sports experience.
Thanks, Nazri. How about you, Jaslyn?
Okay.
What got you interested in weightlifting?
Well, I've always been interested in sort of strength sports. So I started in powerlifting some time ago. So I think it's about 10 years now. And then along the way, I sort of picked up CrossFit as well. And it was through CrossFit that I actually started Olympic weightlifting. So I never had any ambitions to compete or anything. So yeah, through friends at the CrossFit box, discovered the love of Olympic weightlifting. Really.
Oh, that's great. Thanks, Jess. And Zikui, yourself?
I started with Muay Thai actually, but then that time I feel that there's too much cardio and I couldn't take it. So I switched to BJJ. So the gym I signed up for, actually offer BJJ. So yeah, so that's why. That's how it started. Yeah.
When did you start Muay Thai? How long did you do that?
About 1 year. Yeah. It's too much cardio for me. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. Lei Sang, what about yourself? What got you interested in weightlifting?
Well, I think in contrast with the rest of the three that have just gone before me, I don't have a single athletic background at all. In fact, when I left school, I was very happy with, in fact, I hate to exercise. And with reckless eating, my weight kind of ballooned over 30 plus years. And the wake-up call only came when my mum was diagnosed with severe osteoporosis. So when I returned back to Singapore, this was back in 2011, and I settled down back in Singapore for good. I decided that I needed to do something about it because there is a family history of brittle bones. And so the best way is to strengthen the bones, and weightlifting, Olympic weightlifting really is, I think, the best form of exercise that can holistically help one person, in many different ways, not just in building your muscle and your strength, but also building your sense of control, your flexibility, your balance, coordination, and most importantly, explosivity. I think that was something that I was looking forward to in terms of being functionally independent as I age.
So you started weightlifting in 2011, did I hear you right?
I started exercising in 2011.
Oh, okay.
It took me about 2 or 3 years to get some basic level of functional fitness before my coach introduced me to Olympic weightlifting.
I see, okay.
And then that took another about 3 years before I started competing.
Right. I'm out of curiosity, when the idea of weightlifting was presented to you by a coach, what was your first thought?
I said to myself, I don't want to get bulky, which was a total myth, right? Now that I realize, and I think that should be the myth that we should be dispelling amongst the women.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Lisa. So Fiona, what about yourself?
Okay, so I actually started with Muay Thai as well. Me and Zikui started at the same gym, but we started at a different time. I started earlier, and I actually joined for Muay Thai, but then when I signed up, they gave me a free gi as well. So Jiu-Jitsu, in Jiu-Jitsu, you wear a uniform and it's called the gi. So when they gave me a free gi, I was like, why not? So I went to try, and then I like Zikui. I think my cardio quite good, so I didn't mind doing Muay Thai, but it's just a bit, no offense to the kickboxing guy, but Muay Thai is a little bit boring to me because it's kind of repetitive. Yeah, I mean, everybody has their own preference lah. Yeah, but I found it a little bit too repetitive for me. So when I joined Jiu-Jitsu, it was fun because there was a lot of techniques and a lot of concept to learn about, and I like to be engaged that way, like mentally engaged in that sense. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Fiona. Maybe just staying with you, Fiona. Can you tell us the name of the competition you went for, that the fund supported you for, and what were some of the challenges you faced in the lead up to that competition?
So I used the Temasek fund to go for the World Championship for Jiu-Jitsu. So some of the challenges I faced is, first of all, like because of COVID again, the pricing and VTL lane, all the travel restrictions. Yeah. So yeah, cost was a big factor because of all the VTL, the prices all went up. Then also about nutrition, I think, because like in order to compete at a certain level, you should be eating healthily and then doing weights also, and like building up to that competition.
You talked about the COVID challenge. So despite the COVID challenge, what was your motivation to still go for the competition?
Oh, so because this year there's a lot of major tournaments for Singapore, which is one is the SEA Games, then another one was Asian Games. So I decided to use Worlds as a gauge to help me see where I stand on a World stage. And also, it's actually the first competition I go for since COVID, which is like 2 years. And then I don't want my first competition in 2 years to be directly SEA Games. So yeah, so I need a little build up before that.
Thanks, Fiona. So Lei Sang, coming to you, Could you share with us the name of the competition that you were supported for, and maybe share with us also some of the challenges that you faced in the lead up to that competition?
Yeah, so the name of the competition is the Commonwealth Masters Weightlifting Competition. It was held in Cairns, Queensland in Australia. As it turned out, because of COVID, it became a hybrid event because Australians' borders were closed. A lot of us couldn't travel there. And even within domestic Australia, there were a lot of restrictions within the states. But Queensland was open. So hybrid means that there was a bunch of people who were competing on site in Cairns, and the rest of us who can't travel there were competing online. So it was virtual come actual on-site. I think for me, as with a lot of people, COVID presented a lot of challenges. This was the period where Singapore went through the heightened alert. The gyms were closed. We couldn't find, gyms were opening and closing. So there was a huge disruption to systematic training. And for people who are familiar with weightlifting, you know you cannot lift a weight overnight. You have to progressively build your body and condition up to optimal peak condition for competition. So it was very disruptive. And I had to compete I had to, when gyms were closed, I even had to train in the HDB car park. So, which was causing disruption to those people who were using the car park. And I even had to call upon my MP to help speak to the manager of HDB to allow me to continue training in the car park. So a lot of things we had to work around and adapt to, but at least I got to compete in the end.
Wow, that's incredible. Training in the car park. On the top floor? How did that work?
It's a 6-story multi-story car park. And from the 4th story onwards, there were practically no cars. And on the 6th level, it's practically deserted. So the police even came, right, to check me out because of the complaints. But I had a lot of support from Minister Chan, who is my MP, to allow me to continue to train there. So I'm very grateful because I had my own set of equipment. And I also suffer from asthma. So, I was wheezing away. Not easy, but at least managed to pull through.
Okay, well, that's incredible. Zikui, maybe I can come to you. Again, the name of the competition, I presume it's the same one as Fiona, right?
Yeah, we went for the same comp.
That's right.
So my challenge is basically I have to juggle between work and training. So because I work in IT industry, so we have to OT quite a lot when we are trying to meet project timeline. So in the past I used to train 2-3 hours in the evening. So I have to rearrange my timing, maybe train in the morning 1 hour and then come back in the evening and train another session. Yeah.
Wow. And how long did this go on for you, Zikui?
For about a month, just before the com in November. Yeah, that's our peak period. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Zikui. Jaslyn, what about yourself?
So I think similar to Baisang, it's difficult to train during the period when the COVID situation was quite bad and the gyms were closed. So there were only limited options for training. So it was very difficult and disruptive to find somewhere to train. So I ended up training at it was either outdoors or the dedicated training facilities that remained open. So thankfully, I think there were some arrangements made, and SWF, so the Singapore Weightlifting Federation, they did allow me to train. And also I think NYSI opened their doors as well. So I was able to train there. It was also challenging because, I mean, although I could train by myself, I didn't have my coach with me. So it was difficult that way. So we had to sort of work something out remotely.
Right. Okay.
And the competition took place remotely as well, which was logistically very difficult because with Olympic weightlifting, you ended up having to sort of load your own weights, right? Because typically in a competition, you have loaders who will load the weights for you. So in a remote competition, I had to enlist help basically from my coach and some friends to actually act as the loaders. So that was also tough.
Wow, that's tough. Without the usual support that you will get at a competition.
Yeah, the things that you actually take for granted, yeah, are no longer there.
Yeah. Thanks, Jaslyn. Nazri, what about yourself? Please share with us the name of the competition you went for and what were some of the challenges you faced.
I went to compete in the 2021 WACO Senior World Championships. So I competed in 75 kilo category for K1. Yeah. So basically my challenges is basically like getting like trying to find like good preparation for the championships. So it's like the thing is it's hard for me to find like good quality training, kickboxing trainings, like specifically kickboxing trainings in Singapore. So it's like even if you can see that although the most popular striking stand-up combat sports in Singapore is basically Muay Thai. Like if you ask someone what is Muay Thai, then they actually know what it is. In Singapore, it's everyone know what kickboxing is. They've probably watched kickboxing fight or anything, but they don't understand the rule sets and the scoring of kickboxing. So the training method, the sparring is all different. So that's where like especially in Singapore, it poses like a challenge for me. Right, it's hard for even back in my own like my own club, everyone is just like training blind somewhat, right? So I needed like something more specific, a team or like a region who are active in WACO kickboxing rule sets. So that's when like I made arrangements to actually travel to Serbia to have my training camp there. Yeah, which is actually very helpful because like I don't, because the thing is my entire training camp is self-funded, right? So I have to actually spend my savings. So which is why I'm really grateful for the Temasek Inspire Fund. So it helped me actually like lessen the burden of the cost instead.
So if I hear you correctly, you're saying that it was difficult to find competition in Singapore for your sport. So
even training also.
Even training, it was tough to find sparring partners.
Yeah, true.
Okay. I know a major theme of all that you all have shared revolves around the pandemic and the restrictions that enforced on everyone. Maybe starting with Nazri and then going back. What made you continue in your sport? What made you continue hoping and training and planning, replanning, because things change all the time? What was your motivation, Nazri?
Well, actually, simply put, I just enjoy training and fighting and competing. Honestly, yeah. So it's like everything that just precedes it. Like this, the enjoyment, the fulfillment I get when I train, like it like precedes everything else. So it's like I've always been I don't actually plan so much ahead. I just kind of like stay in the moment kind of. So all I do is like as long as I just do my job, prepare well. When the opportunity comes, I'm at a position that I can just take it. Right. So honestly, like a lot of things again, it's like there are so many options that I can take, but the things I just keep my heart and my mind open. So if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't come, it's okay. At least like I'm honestly personally, I'm not the kind who like actually really like I'm forcing myself to get to a specific goal. Like I just want to be better than I was yesterday. That's it. Yeah.
So pandemic or no pandemic, you were still gonna continue.
Yeah, exactly.
What about you, Jaslyn? You know, with all the disruptions and all the hassles, and what made you continue? What made you keep trying?
Well, for me, I think Olympic weightlifting actually sparks joy. So I actually really enjoy doing it. Not many people, not many people do the sport, and actually not many women, right? So it's quite unusual. And I think it also gives me some bragging rights, like amongst my colleagues and bosses, especially the CrossFit folks, just to say that I can lift more than them. So, yeah, for all the above reasons, yes.
Thanks, Jaslyn. What about yourself? What made you keep going? You know, despite all the restrictions and the rescheduling and the working around your work.
Actually, I use it to de-stress. So I don't really have much plan after work. So it's really an outlet for me to de-stress. Yeah. And I meet most of my friends from BJJ. So yeah, maybe that's why I keep training. Yeah.
Okay, so a sense of community and a good alternative to just working for you. All right, thanks. What about you, Lisa?
Yeah,
What
so
kept
I'm
you
not.
going?
I'm no longer working, so I don't have to de-stress. But I certainly have a passion for the sport, and for me, the motto has always been "Dare to Dream." Right. So I have some dreams that I want to achieve in the sport, and I know that I have to continue to compete in order to validate the results of my training on an actual competition platform. So that's one. And two, I'm also the head of the Masters Committee in Singapore Weightlifting Federation. And I'm hoping that through my example, I would be able to inspire other Masters weightlifters in Singapore that to continue to train, to compete, regardless of the odds that might be against us.
Okay, flying the flag for the Masters. Thanks, Lisa. What about yourself, Fiona? What kept you going?
What kept me going? I think actually it was quite hard during the COVID period because I really liked the sport, but then because of all the restriction, we couldn't spar with people because it's a grappling sport one-on-one. So when we couldn't spar, it's kind of boring. And then there was a bit of time when at the gyms, because even though the gyms were open, you could only roll with a dummy. And then what's the fun in rolling with a dummy, right? Like, and there's no reaction at all. So I think it was a little bit hard. But then what kept me going was that I really like the sport and I like challenges. So like I like competing because it puts myself out there. I get to test myself, and it's a very fun sport. So yeah.
Okay, thanks, Fiona. So maybe I can go to Jaslyn now just to change the sequence a bit and scare everybody slightly.
Yeah, don't put me on the spot, Leslie.
Do it for her.
So Jaslyn, what did you learn about yourself as an athlete, through this experience? What struck you?
What struck me is I suppose I actually learned that I was a little bit more resilient than I thought I am or was. And that I have the ability to deal with unexpected things or events. That you just need to be more adaptable and flexible, think out of the box, which is what I do anyway in the course of my work. But I mean, yeah, as an athlete, I've never had gyms close on me, my coach not be there. But yeah, I think through this experience, I learned that I can actually adapt quickly and deal with the unexpected.
Okay, thanks. How about yourself, Nazri? What did this experience reveal to yourself, having to deal with all the challenges and then going for the competition?
And I think after everything, looking back, and then what struck me the most was I'm actually I am better than I actually thought I am right now. Because when I came, because I went to Serbia and trained again. Throughout my training camp, and then after competing and everything, just like my teammates are all saying that actually Nazri, they saw potential in you. So which is something that I don't believe, what I don't see myself. Like it was, I guess I only discovered that like right after I stepped into the ring, and then I actually went through the whole process, the training camp. And then even coming back, right, I did some self-reflection, and then I believe that I finally realized that I'm actually capable of so much more. So it's just whether I want to earn it and take it or not. Yeah,
Great.
that's it.
Thanks, Nazri.
Yeah.
Fiona, may I ask you, what did you think you learned about yourself through this whole experience?
Like the whole time I've been doing the sport?
Well, going for this competition, working through the pandemic, going there to compete. Yeah.
I would say, well, that's a hard question. I never actually thought of it that way. But after doing this sport for like 7 years, I would say that I have a good mental fortitude after doing this sport, because when I first started this doing jiu-jitsu, it was a very male-dominated sport. I mean, it still is as well, but it's better now because there's more females joining. But when I first started, all my training partners were guys, and compared to guys, girls naturally are we are not built as strong as them, like naturally. So that was a big challenge for me, because they were my only partners that I had to roll with during that time. So I learned how to work with that and improve myself in that sense. So I realized that I'm actually quite strong, or at least jiu-jitsu has helped me build mental fortitude as well.
Okay, great. Thanks, Fiona. Lisa, may I come to you? What has the experience been like? Going for the competition, planning for it. What did you learn about yourself?
Yeah, I think it's a common theme that the athletes have already mentioned. It's a lot to do with the winning mindset, the can-do attitude, the ability to be flexible and adapt to the circumstances, the never say die attitude, and really the building the capital on our mental resilience, mental tenacity, and the fortitude that every athlete needs in order to be able to compete successfully.
Great, thanks. And Zikui, how about you? What has this recent experience been like for you, and in terms of revealing to yourself, what are some of your unexpected strengths?
Like after going for this com, right, I feel that I'm not as bad as I thought, because during training I always roll with Fiona, as in like sparring session, and she always beat me up. Like, but then after going for this com, I'm actually not as bad as I thought. Yeah.
I'm not that mean, okay.
Okay. So thanks for sharing. I guess now I'd like to turn your attention to some of the people around you who have been walking with you through this experience of training during the pandemic, trying to get to a competition. Who were some of these people that made the most difference to you? Maybe I can start with Fiona for this question.
People who have made the most impact, is it?
Yeah.
Well, when I first started, I just started before university. So back then, the ones that made the most impact were definitely my parents, because jiu-jitsu is a really expensive sport in Singapore. Like in case, for example, the gym cost is about 3K per year. So that's very steep for a sport. So I mean, without my parents' support, I definitely would not be able to do it. But as I progress in this sport, my training partners definitely made a difference as well. I mean, to stay on and enjoy the sport, you must have good training partners. Like if my training partners were always beating me up, I wouldn't I wouldn't like have stayed at this sport, especially. So yeah, so definitely makes a difference with the friends you make at the gym. And your coaches also make a difference because they can help you with your game. And when they do it, it can help you win as well during competition. And I think those people are really important for this jiu-jitsu.
Great. Jocelyn, how about yourself? Who have been some of the folks around you in recent times that have helped you push through?
Oh, definitely my family who've been very unstinting in their support, and who are here also, dialing in from, different parts of the world. So hi, family. Also, I mean, my coach, Stuart, and my friends who actually sacrificed their time to come down and help me. So I think Ifan is also here. So shout out to Ifan, who is also a weightlifter. And also, support from NYSI and SWF, the Singapore Weightlifting Federation, for providing, competition and training venues. So that was also very important.
Great, thanks, Jocelyn. Great. What about yourself? Well, there's some of the people that have made the most difference for you in this experience.
For this comp, right, Fiona helped me a lot because she will train with me before and after training. And then, sometimes during classes, there are too many people, and then the coaches can't really focus on you. And then also because she's like higher level than me, so she will correct my techniques, all this. And she was the one cornering me during my comp. Yeah. So normally, if I'm without like corner, right, I will feel very lost because I don't know what to do. Yeah. So she helped me a lot in this comp. Yeah.
That's great.
You owe me dinner, man.
Nazri, how about you? Who are the people that have made a huge difference to you in this experience?
Well, it has to be the constant people in my life first, right? So it's like I feel I've been blessed with like a pair of very, very, very supportive parents. Because when I know, like, when I want to pursue this path of being a fighter and stuff like that, right, I know a lot of parents will not. But although I probably tested their faith a little bit, but they actually still believe in me and trust that I will, as in like this path is right for me. So they don't stop me, they don't discourage me or anything, but they actually let me do my thing and just see me through. And one of the things that really I appreciate was like during COVID and during pandemic, because I'm working as a coach as well. And then they knew that that I'm obviously I'm not, I wasn't doing very well like financially. So they were really understanding and really supportive about me. Although they have their concerns, right? But they still trust that, as in like I've never felt that like they've ever discouraged me or like talking down on me or something like that. So then these days, like I've also honestly the Kickboxing Federation, the guys there actually helped me a lot. Like they're like Jason inside the group, inside the meeting. Like Jason, Val, and Joel, they've been actually whatever decision I make, like as in like which is good for me and for the federation, like for the sport, they actually help me arrange everything and see me through. So it's like then because then Jason has been like my mentor. Like he's the one who's been guiding me like things outside and outside and inside the ring, right? So and I have a lot. So like there's two more. Then like there's Robert from, because these days like back in Singapore, although I'm not training with Topic in Serbia, right? I'm still supported by the other NSAs. So namely like mainly the Silat Federation, where I'm working with the coaches with strength conditioning, and also Robert is a current national Muay Thai coach right now. So during this time, right, when I'm still in Singapore, they've been helping me tirelessly, like, and also like they didn't ask for anything written, so except give my best. So which I try as much as possible. So it's like but I've been training and like training under them like very diligently. And they've been giving me all their max effort. Like yeah. And then probably lastly, my girlfriend, like I told her like of all people, like she went through she sees all my pain actually. Like all my back then. I think she's inside now. But if you weren't for her, honestly, if you weren't for her, because I will like a lot. Here's the thing about like for me like my partners, like I know some partners like some parents, they don't understand the things that we go through. But the thing but having like even if she doesn't understand what I'm going through, like what my life is like, right? But she tries and then try to understand and try to empathize as well. So yeah, so quite blessed.
Yes, indeed. Thanks, Nazri.
Yeah.
And Lei Sang, how about yourself? Who are some of the folks that have made a big difference to you during this experience?
I think my biggest motivational and support pillar is really my coach, Patrick. He's been my coach from day one. He's the one who has transformed me from a person with zero athletic background, zero fitness, to where I am today. He fussed over every single detail of my weightlifting technique, and also ensuring that my nutrition and my recovery processes are optimized. And he's basically been with me through every single training session and every competition I've been through. And I've been through like 16 competitions since 2016. And it's really that commitment, that dedication, that selfless sacrifice, regardless of whether I'm battling through the valleys of challenges or really celebrating all the triumphs of the success. Without my coach, there will be no me today.
Great, thanks, Lei Sang. The next question that I'd like you all to consider is about, what do you know now that you did not know before you began this whole experience with the fun, with the competition? Maybe I can start with Zikui. What do you know now that you did not know before you embarked on this whole experience? And if you could do this all over again, what would you do differently? I guess those are the two related questions. So what do you know now that you did not know before you began trying to apply to go to California to compete?
Actually, I did not know about this TFIF thing. And Fiona shared this to me. Yeah, then I apply. Yeah.
Okay.
What was the question again? Sorry.
So if you could do this all over again, what would you do differently, if anything?
Wow. I guess I have already done my best for the com. So
No
yeah.
regrets.
Yeah.
No regrets. Okay. That's fine. Maybe. How about Jaslyn? What do you know now that you did not know before you embarked on this whole thing, through COVID and through competing and training?
Yeah, that's a tough question, Leslie. I would say there's nothing there's nothing I did not know before. I know now.
Would you do anything differently? Do it all over again?
Well, if I had to do it all over again, I would wish that COVID never happened, right? But I can't, not God, but yeah. No, I think, no, actually, I think my answer to that is just, yeah. Things happen for a reason. Sure. I'll just be philosophical about that.
Yeah, thanks. Fiona, what about you? Was there anything that was...
Okay, I agree with Jaslyn and Zikui. I think all of us, whenever we go for competition, our goal is to win. I don't think anybody ever went for a competition and thought of, my goal is to get second place, right? So yeah, so I think we all did our best to prepare. And also yeah, it's true that regret, there's no point regretting also, because regret is a wasted emotion, right? Like I go there and then even though I don't win, I learn something, and there's no regret in that. I get to learn something new. I know what I have to work on. It has helped me improve my game.
Okay. Thanks, Fiona. How about you, Lisa?
Well, I think all of us were very frustrated with the disruptive effects of COVID. I think we need a plan B. That's my conclusion. Don't let the external circumstances bog us down. So I'm working on my plan B, and not be, that means having my own training space, my own training equipment, and the government cannot dictate that I close it down, even if it's even if it's a pandemic. Yes. And training continues.
Lisa, I thought about that as well, but I figured that to buy a good class bungalow in Singapore, I would need quite a lot of money. So I'm not sure when I'll make it to the plan B. But
It's work in progress. That's why it's a plan B.
Thanks, Lisa. How about you, Nazri? What do you know now that you did not know before you started this whole experience?
Well, I think it just although I share the same sentiments as everyone, right? Like when every time we compete, we go guns blazing and like just an open heart, and then there's no regret, right? But if I were to do something, like I know now, I wish I would have stayed in Serbia for a little while longer, a lot longer actually. It's like because I'm actually having a time of my life there also. Like training there also. Yeah.
So if you could do it all over again, you would stay in Serbia for a longer time to train.
Yeah, longer time. Yes, exactly.
Okay, thanks. So the next question I have for you all is, how does competing in that competition that you went for help you get into a next level of competition? Maybe I can start with Nazri. What's next for you, having gone
Well,
to the Worlds?
yes. Okay, after last year's competitions was like, yes, given me like more clarity and more direction in what I want to do and what I want to pursue. So I'm actually the moment I came back, right, up from Italy, right, once I touched down, all I was thinking about is like training for the next World Championships. But this time although I'm training to win, like really, really, really. Like I'm done like not getting podium finish, right? So of course I don't although I put myself out there still because I don't know what I'm capable of. Like I might be good, I might not be good, right? But the thing is I don't have, after that competition, I don't have that doubt anymore. Like I don't like even at test water, stuff like that. So now when I came back, I know what I need to do. I know the direction that I need to hit. So I'm just going for the winner. Yeah. So like SEA Games is probably it's one of the like I actually like tests that I need to be a world champion.
Okay. Thanks, Nazri.
Okay.
How about you, Zikui?
Mm,
How does competing in the competition you went for in California, how does that help you in the next step, next competition?
my next competition will be end of March in Bahrain. It's actually Asian Game qualifiers. So I hope that I will I'll get good results in that Yeah.
Okay. So it's a stepping stone towards possible Asian Games.
Mm.
Okay. And yourself, Jaslyn, if I may come to you.
So competing in the Commonwealth Masters has allowed me to qualify for the IWF Masters World Championships at the end of this year. So it'll be held in Orlando, Florida. So that's the most prestigious event on the Masters weightlifting calendar.
Okay. So you have something to shoot for at the end of this year.
Yes. So definitely looking to podium there. Let's see how it goes.
Okay. Fiona, what about yourself?
I think I mentioned earlier, but I went for Worlds to test myself against like more competitors, because it's in Singapore, it's quite a small sport. So usually World Championship is the biggest competition. You get to meet a lot of different people, different games as well. So it's a build-up for me to go SEA Games later this year in May, and then also Asian Games later in the year.
Okay. All right. So it's set you up for SEA Games and Asian Games potentially this year.
I mean, I'm definitely going for SEA Games. So Asian Games, we have to go for the Asian qualifier first,
Qualifiers.
which is soon also, yeah.
All right. And Lei Sang, how about yourself?
Yeah, same like Jaslyn, we are shooting for the Orlando Worlds.
Okay.
And this competition actually would be one of several that I can choose from to decide which one would put me in a better place to be invited to compete in the Worlds.
Okay, that's great. So I just want to do a quick time check. We are reaching the 8:50 mark, and we're gonna try and wrap it up in about 10-15 minutes. If anyone here who has any questions for any of our athletes, please feel free to put it in the chat, and we can just pick them up as they come along. So in the meantime, just getting back to my last few questions, may I just ask, how does competing as in the competition that you all went for, how has that set you up for better training opportunities or equipment or sponsorship? How has that benefited you in some tangible ways? Maybe we can start with Nazri.
Well, I guess the most direct one is I get more recognition, like by not just like more like members of public, right, but even the other NSAs, which is why when I came back, that's where the connections happen. I'm training with the National Muay Thai Federation. I'm training with the Silat Federation, and then like personally meet Stig myself, and then like so these are things that after after Worlds and of that that I feel like I receive benefits, which is actually opportunities for me to level up myself. Yeah, and then of course with I have specific goals in mind, and then I know where I know my next game plan, like for my campaign for the next Worlds. So we are actually like plotting and actually working towards that.
Okay.
Right.
Did the opportunities also come up for you to coach others because of your experience? Did you competing in that competition also inspire others to look at you and say, maybe I can go to? Did you encounter any such experience?
So far, nobody actually said that to me, like yet, I think, because I'm busy like training myself also, so I'm actually excluding myself away from everyone. But I don't know, maybe we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nazri.
Yeah, okay.
So Lei Sang, coming to you, in terms of better training opportunities or maybe sponsorship, how has competing benefited you in any way, and how has that impacted other people around you?
Yeah, so I think weightlifting is a pretty niche sport. We typically don't get a lot of sponsorships, especially not in monetary terms. So to be able to get some financial endorsement from this particular fund, it goes a long way, at least in validating, as I say, the hard work and the amount of dedication we put into the sport. So it's an avenue, I think, that can be capitalized on. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm also the head of the Masters Committee for SWF, and we have several Masters weightlifters who are looking to be able to go overseas this year, especially with the border restrictions easing, to be able to go overseas for competition. And many of them have expressed an interest. And with today's announcement of VTL to Greece, I'm sure a lot of them, because the next competition is going to be in Greece, so I'm sure a lot of them will be flooding the applications for the next tranche. So I think that opens up additional pathways for more Singaporeans to fly the flag for us overseas, and to continue to put Singapore on the map of masters weightlifting around the world.
That's great. Thanks, Lisa. How about you, Fiona? How has competing in California, given you maybe better training opportunities or sponsorship? How has that been a benefit?
I mean, I agree with what she said earlier, because I think both weightlifting and jiu-jitsu, actually I think most sports in Singapore, it's a little bit hard to get sponsorship. I mean, unless you have connections. So yeah, I think it's a little bit hard to get sponsorship, because based on how our society is built, we kind of want to focus more on education than sports. So, but I would say with regards to inspiring others, I hope I inspired somebody. But when I came back from US, people tend to ask me like, oh, how was the competition there? Was the training good? Because when we went to compete, we also went to do a little bit of training before that and after the competition, because might as well make full use of the trip there. So people will tend to ask me, how is it and how's the training? Then they will mention that they want to go one day. So yeah.
So you going gives them some inspiration to maybe try and do that as well.
Yeah, I think because it takes quite a bit of courage to go by yourself, because as I think Zigui mentioned earlier, usually during competitions, you have a corner, and that corner would usually be your coach, which is a black belt. And in jiu-jitsu, you need at least 10 years to get a black belt. So it's quite hard to get a black belt. So it's 10 years of experience. So you want somebody with more experience to corner you. When you go overseas, most of the time the coaches will not go with you, because they have their own gym to teach. So yeah, that's one challenge as well. So basically it takes a lot of courage to go, because you do not have a corner in, yeah.
Okay, thanks, Fiona. Jaslyn, what about yourself? How has competing helped you out?
I mean, I would echo what Lisa has already said. I mean, weightlifting is very niche. It's actually quite underfunded. So it's difficult to get funding. So grateful for what TFIF has provided in terms of sponsorship. I think in terms of creating better training opportunities, I mean, hopefully, this would create awareness and open up opportunities also for other athletes to receive funding and also to compete overseas, as Lei Sang has also mentioned. Yeah, hopefully.
Thanks, Jaslyn. Zigui, how about yourself?
I guess during the trip we get to train in US. So the thing about training in US is that they have like a lot of open mats. Then everyone will gather together and just train together, and then it's free. Like you don't get this kind of like free training. It's not common in Singapore. Yeah.
I have a question from Haritz in the chat. It's asking, how do you balance training with school, if applicable? So in place of school, you can put work if you wish. So maybe we can start with Fiona. How do you balance? You're in school, right?
No, I graduated. So
Right.
when I was in school, right, because it's university, and university is, I mean, as hard as it is to believe, it's a little bit more relaxing than junior college and like secondary school. So you actually have time to plan your timetable, because you can fit your classes into a certain timetable, and during that free time you can go and train. So I think that helped a lot with the flexibility in university. I mean, of course, you have to study also, but because of the flexible timetable and less workload compared to junior college, in my opinion, because junior college you cram for 2 years for A level, but uni is by modules and by months and semesters. So I actually had more time to train during university.
So in terms of balancing work now for you and sport, how does it compare to your time in university?
I mean, I spent way more time working than I was in uni, but when I was going for SEA Games in 2019, you have to, I mean, if you want to fight professionally, of course you have to make time for it. Like no matter what, you have to make time for it. So back then when I was training for SEA Games, I would wake up at like 5 a.m. and I'll go train in the morning, 1 hour plus, because I stay very far from my gym. I had to travel 1 hour plus. So I will go to the gym in the morning to train, then I'll go to work, and then after work, I'll go back to training. And yeah, I mean, you have to give up certain things to do well for your sport. And I think that's normal if you really want to be the best out there.
And you were waking up at 5 a.m. doing this every day.
Yeah, it's not fun, man.
Yes.
But yeah, I really want to represent the country and win something. So it's a small thing to give for that 1 year period.
Indeed. How about yourself, Jaslyn? How is juggling work and training?
Very challenging, just because work is very busy, and I also teach at NUS, so I guess I have two jobs. So it just requires a lot of time management. So to properly organize my time, I think, and to really prioritize what I want to do. I also believe that if you really want to do something, you will make time for it. And that's what I do with my training. So I think first comes work and teaching, and then, after that it'll be training. So just to set aside time, I guess, during the week to actually train. But it also means that I actually end up training either early in the morning or very late at night. So I'll go to the gym at around 8, maybe 8:30, and then it'll go on until about past 10. Sometimes even later, until my parents get a bit worried for me, even though I'm old now. But yeah, they're worried that I don't get home safely. So they will stay up too.
That's nice. Great. Well, what's it like for you balancing your sport and work?
I guess I sleep a lot lesser when preparing for com. It's really a lot lesser. So like sometimes I sleep at like 2 plus, and then I have to wake up like Fiona 5 plus, then train, go for 6:45 training, and then evening we have to train again, then goes on and on. Yeah, so just have to sleep lesser during that period. Yeah.
So sleep is the first thing you have to sacrifice. That's tough.
Sometimes you even miss dinner to attend training.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
Nazri, what about you? I know you train where you work sometimes. So how do you juggle that?
Well, okay. The good thing about me, because I'm my timetable is actually pretty flexible, right? I can just shift my schedule around. But it's all a matter of prioritizing, right? And managing expectations. So like if let's say we put school in consideration, okay, the thing is I've never been the best student when I was studying. So I would, if let's say you put in more time in training, you should expect, like, your grades will suffer a bit. At least don't suffer until so much. Right. Like you pass, can really lah. Yeah, that's what I mean. Then when it comes to work, it's the same thing, right? Because I coach freelance as well. So the expectations I have, if I put in more time training, I would actually which means I'll earn lesser income, because I'm spending more time on me and not coaching stuff like that. And well, of course, there are some things that I really don't sacrifice, like sleep and meals, actually, because I need them, especially when you get older. Oh, you feel it. Anyway, I think everybody can see it. Yeah. So, and there are things that you have to sacrifice, if you want to get goals, you want to achieve your goals, right? So if training, work is also important, and then your rest, your recovery, your nutrition is as important. So the only thing that that suffers is actually my social life.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the only thing that I take away, right? But here's the thing: it's just a phase, and then I will not be training even after competition and stuff. I will not be training forever like super max. I will take less time, a bit of break. That's where I will try to spend more time with my family and my friends and stuff like that. It's just that only during this period you have to shuffle your priorities around. Like what is more important right now. Like don't need to be in the future. Like what's important right now, that because whatever we do right now, right, will lead to like a future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nazri. So maybe I can leave the last word to Lei Sang about the joys and challenges of being a masters athlete, in this season of life, and maybe serve as an inspiration for all the other athletes here, and maybe for everybody else listening in as well. Your thoughts?
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. I think I've been very blessed compared to the other athletes here. I'm a full-time athlete. I don't have a job. I retired from my corporate life in 2016 when I turned 50 to be able to do this on a full-time basis. And I think kudos to all of you, because I don't think if I have to manage work or manage studies, I would be able to concentrate 100% on this passion of mine. I do spend a lot of time on recovery, given my zero athletic background, and given that I start from scratch. And really, I think, I hope I am a good testament to inspire others that age is only a number. Elite sports performance is possible at any age. And we should just, as we age, we should aim to thrive and not just survive. And so it's never too late to start.
That's great. Lei Sang, thank you very much. On that very hopeful and optimistic note, so even though the three of you are in the under 35 category, when you flip over to beyond 35, you can still apply. Okay. So thank you very, very much, Lei Sang, Fiona, Zigui, Jaslyn, and Nazri. Thank you for sharing your experiences with all of us. And we hope that people who have listened in tonight, and as well as in the future when they watch the recording, will have benefited from your collective experience. So thank you, everybody, and have a good night.